And hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Hungry Boy once again coming to you with another Halloween review. Today we're going to be talking about a British cult classic. Many people despise it. Many people love it. I fall into the latter category, but I am rare. Now, what this means is I can recommend it to people who are fans of 1958 to about 1978 British horror and sci-fi cinema and television. If you're unfamiliar with that, only the last 40 minutes of the film is going to matter to you. Allow me to explain and be honest, even though I love this movie, I can't lie about it. If you're looking at the poster and you're thinking that's what you want to see, and you're looking at the trailer and you're thinking that's what you want to see, look, you got to skip ahead to about 47 minutes into the movie, because this is the thing about this movie. It is two movies in one, and the movies are kind of in conflict. So the first half of the movie is a psychodrama involving a whole bunch of sleazy stuff that was going on in the 60s at the time with people who were on a tramp steamer. That's not the same as an ocean liner. They're on a tramp steamer, and if you're on a tramp steamer instead of an ocean liner or an airplane, let me tell you, it basically means you got things to hide. It basically means you have things you don't want other people to know. It basically means you've been a naughty person. Okay, that's great. That can set things up for later, but let's set it up in 15 minutes. Let's not take 47 minutes. So I honestly suggest that for any of you in the United States or even in Canada, you go ahead and just skip to 40 minutes into the film, maybe even 46 minutes into the film, and just accept that these people are messed up and they're not getting along. Because you're going to have to wait till 47 minutes into the film before you see the first thing that is promised on the poster. Now, what might that be? Well, if you know about the concept of the Sargasso Sea, which is a real thing, what if those seaweeds actually were carnivorous? Yeah, you can imagine what I'm talking about. And then what if that ecosystem actually created other beasties, other monsters that were dangerous? And what if the Sargasso Sea, which is known to trap ships, and if it's a carnivorous Sargasso Sea, it's going to be looking to trap ships and drag them in order to get the juicy, tasty morsels of flesh that are on those ships towards whatever the carnivorous Sargasso is interested in having as a munchie, or a Halloween treat, you might say. That does happen in the film. And you also have some really weird crap going on, like there are some people who come from the 1600s time period of Spain where the Inquisition was still going on. They've survived. They've created a culture for themselves. This is not a big spoiler. There are some very interesting concepts in the film, but it is very much a conceptual film on a relatively low creature budget. I love the creatures. You may not. Do we get a giant tentacle creature? Yes, we do. Do we get a creature that is similar to a horrendous... What the hell was that? Excuse me for a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And you know what? That's what you get for trying to talk about scary movies at Halloween in the subtropics. Anywho, like I was saying, you have a variety of creatures. You got crustaceans that look like they came from the depths of the inferno. And you have tentacle creatures. And I honestly think, and I was surprised to think this, that the scariest one was probably the reveal of, shall we say, the center of the Sargasso Sea in this movie. And it is actually used for nefarious, sinister purposes. Used for some scary crap. There are some scary moments in this film using that monster. And then we also have some other elements. There is what some people refer to as the Phantom of the Opera reveal. There is a character who doesn't show his face for up until the end of the film, and then he shows his face, and then some people don't understand what his face actually means, the diseased aspect of his face. But if you bear in mind some of the history of the Inquisition, the 1600s in Spain, you will catch on, and it's a bit horrifying as well. And you have other interesting characters who, frankly, are just completely out of place, out of time. But that's part of the plot of the movie, and they work along well with the monsters. Are there enough monsters as promised by the poster in The Lost Continent? Obviously not. But is that comparable to all the other films from the late 50s to all of the 60s to even the 70s? Absolutely. It is fair. I must say, it is fair. And there is a comeuppance to the bad characters, and there is a relatively satisfying conclusion. If you like a slightly darker ending, a slightly more British horror ending, you will like it very much. If you're into more of the Americano style of horror films or monster movies from 1959 up until 1979, look, I'm not going to recommend it to you. I'm not. And like I said, if you did not come from the Commonwealth, and my pal, comic book relief crusader, he knows what I mean by the Commonwealth. All right? So if you're not used to British stuff, it's going to be a bit of a slog, and that's why I say skip ahead to 47 minutes, maybe 45 minutes into the movie. Is there sexiness? I must admit there is. Is there nudity? No, there is not. Is there violence? Yes, there is. Is there significant gore or any what we would now today refer to as gore? No, there is not. This is pretty much a PG-13 movie. So it is safe to show at Halloween, but honestly, I think for people under the age of 9, it might be a little bit too scary after we get to the final 35 minutes. So if you're a parent, take that into account, please. And I really love the mood. I really love the pacing after 47 minutes. And I really love the character acting in the movie. I think that always adds to a horror movie. I think people who are just general and bland and blasé and just like, oh my God, I'm on Instagram. I'm going to be like everyone else who's on the Instagram. I'm 25. I don't care. I think that makes for a very boring damn horror film or monster movie. Hell, you know what? I'm a fan of most of the Joe Bob movies. So maybe check it out. Maybe don't. I can't even give a recommendation. But for me, it is a 2.5-star film. If most of the film had been like the second half, it'd be a 3-star film. Anywho, that is both your warning and recommendation. And once again, happy Halloween. Bye-bye.